There she is. There's Miss Shonda. Hey, Miss Shonda. Trying to see if I can invite Emily. Emily, if you can hear me, why don't you go ahead and request to join? And I'll add you on. Miss Shonda, I hope you're having a great weekend. Hello, how are you? How is your family? I haven't seen any new creations putting up on Instagram. Shonda. Hey, Emily. Can't, for some reason, I can't invite you. There's Miss Grizz. Hey, Miss Grizz. Emily, when you're ready, you can go ahead and ask to be joined, and I'll put you on the video to join with me. Oh, you've been on a break? Oh, very nice. Very nice. And it's summertime coming around, so do you have your children? Me and my family are well. Good, good.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yes, can hear you.
I was trying to join from my computer, but I don't think that's going to work.
I've understood that it's a little tricky on the laptop. That's why I do it from my phone.
Yep, so let me just get it set up here.
How and me and my family, Shonda, I have to tell you, it's been a rough couple of weeks for me and my family. Very rough couple of weeks. We're going to have to edit that out of this video.
All right, hopefully this is good.
Yeah, good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you good.
Awesome, awesome. We'll give it a minute for everybody else to join, and we'll get started if that's okay.
Sure, yeah, no problem.
How was your Saturday?
Mine, it was good. It was relaxing. I told you, yesterday I went to the store, got some flowers. Today, cleaned up a little bit. Went to the gym this morning. So, how was everything? How was your food drive?
Wow. So today, I think we hit a record of maybe 275 families.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's awesome.
And it was a good time. I mean, I love getting together with these people and just being of service to our community. It's a poor part of our community, of our island here in Hawaii, but the people are rich, with the aloha spirit, and it's become bigger than we had hoped it to be. It is, other than just foods that we get, it is uh, my side job is I do clean up of units and stuff like that, and I will bring houseware and clothes and shoes and toys and my. So we do 4 tables of just clothes and houseware stuff and toys for the kids and candies. We also partnered up with a medical supply company where we actually give out brand new wheelchairs and walkers and shower chairs and stuff like that.
Oh,
Yeah, it's great. It's a good thing.
Oh,
Hello
yeah, that's amazing.
from Mexico. Yeah, it's a fun time. It really is a fun time. But thank you for asking. I have to say, I just noticed this now. I love that picture behind you.
Isn't it beautiful?
Yeah, was that on purpose?
Oh, I too love elephants, and I've had that piece for, oh gosh, I think like 3 years now, and
Oh
it's my
my.
favorite. It has, I don't know if you can tell it, it has like a little bit of a gold shimmer to it, on her face,
Mm,
and I love elephants, so.
must be nice. We'll get into that for a little bit. I think we're gonna get started. I think we got a lot of people here right now, but I'll go ahead and make introductions and we'll get started. Okay?
Sure.
Okay. Welcome everyone to our weekly podcast here on Instagram Live with the only elephant in the room and also my partner Jay Tiger. We are here with our guest tonight. Her name is Emily. I have been following her for a little bit. I've been trying to get her to join us to educate us on some things that we're going to be talking about tonight. And I guess the timing wasn't right, but I think the timing is right now. And I can see it now in how much um, her work is actually elevated to the next level. So I'm really excited about that. Our
Thank
guest tonight is Emerge Yourself, Emily on Instagram. Also, we'll be talking about a website where you can go and book services such as readings, even readings from a distance. You can go ahead and book some for you. But welcome, Emily, to our weekly podcast, and thank you again for being a part of our podcast this week. I truly appreciate you taking out some time tonight to be with us. So, welcome.
Oh, thank you. This is like my first ever podcast, so I'm honored. So thank you for inviting me. And I'm excited to share my knowledge.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear what you need, what I want to learn, but I feel kind of selfish because this is something I really want to learn more about.
No,
My partner and I, we do have certain abilities, and one of the abilities that I've been using in the last couple of years or so was understanding energies and how they work,
yes.
and understanding that everyone is an energy, a type of energy.
Mm-hmm.
And every living being is a type of energy, and that the energy can never go away. Might be dissipated, but it'll have to go someplace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
Um,
everything is energy. And when you learn about that kind of stuff in like physics in high school, it doesn't really click until you have like that spirituality side, I think. So, energy can't be created or destroyed. So I think when you add that like spiritual aspect to it, it like really opens your mind and makes you think about everything and how everything is connected.
right. I think us, well, myself, like as an empath, it's that's what I feel is the other person's energy.
Mm-hmm.
And I've said this before, where I have always had difficulty being in very crowded places, like state fairs that we used to go to as a family, or Disneyland and what have you. And I think one of the ones that have been really harder for me recently have been funerals because the
Oh,
energy is different.
mm-hmm. Yes.
It's way different.
Also, as an empath, I can completely relate to you. Before, like when I was a kid, before I even knew what this was and kind of how to like cope and find my own ways to deal with it, it was really overwhelming. And you can kind of feel like you're drowning because you don't have
Mm-hmm.
the right tools to help yourself, and like protect yourself. And I remember
Mm-hmm.
like the first time I went out in like a big crowd after COVID and we had all been like isolated,
Yeah.
it was, oh my gosh, I was like, whoa, I forgot like how it is to be around this people. So I can definitely relate to that.
Yeah, I think, um, forgive me, I don't know if it's my signal or yours, but I think we're going to get a little bit of interruption, so it might be a little bit of a delay, but I think we're okay.
Okay.
Um, Before we go any further, immerse yourself on Emerge Emerge Yourself
Mhm.
on Instagram. It's also an LLC, so it is a business for you, correct?
Correct. I just got the LLC maybe like a month ago.
Mm.
It had this has been something that I've been wanting to do, and I've just really recently been pushing myself to kind of make that move and get everything like official. And then I, created my website so I could then book appointments through there because before that I was just kind of getting around word of mouth, doing like friends
Mhm.
and family, and then I knew I wanted to grow on a bigger scale and be able to help more people. So
We're going to get into what exactly you do, but let me ask you. So you mentioned friends and family, which is great that you were able to help them and work with them. Did you find that your family and close friends were supportive of what you were trying to create as far as business and type of service that you do?
yeah, definitely. My mom actually was the one who kind of got me and my family into Reiki. She introduced it to us at first, and then I really fell in love with it, and it really helps me in my life after certain things we can talk about a little bit later. And I kind of went through this like huge spiritual awakening, and I just felt the call. And honestly, I have felt kind of like I've been doing this my whole life. I just never kind of knew what it was. So to be able to put a name to it and a practice and be able to learn about like the history of it and how it came about, teachings, and how to apply that to my life and help others as well. So yeah, they were very supportive, which I think has been uh, the reason why I've been able to keep going.
Yeah, that's interesting because I guess your work is more on the physical side, where I see you use your hands a lot and probably incorporating your inner energy. So having that physical aspect of using your hands is a little bit different from, say, like if I was to do a reading for someone as a medium.
Mhm.
A lot of times when I've tried to do readings for friends or even a family member, it's I didn't find the support that I was hoping for. But I'm okay with it, because it's after all, it's my journey, right?
Right. I will say this, it is a little bit difficult for people um, who aren't in tune with their gifts because really everybody has this ability. You're just either tapped in or you're not. And we all have different abilities. So I think people who aren't tapped into theirs or theirs aren't as prominent have a hard time being open-minded to it and like putting um, their experience aside of them, not knowing what you're talking about.
Right.
So that part I do understand. Yeah, absolutely.
So let's get into what you do exactly. I do see on your Instagram that it says you are a Reiki master, and that comes with a lot of educating and certifications probably, and investigating and research, and probably many hours of practice
Yes.
of being able to call yourself a master in any type of um, guidance or healing or anything like that. I did notice, and I wanted to bring this up real quick, that you do have a website, which is Emerge Yourself
Mm-hmm.
holistics.godaddysites.com.
Yes.
So if that's anyone wants to go to that website, I will make sure I put that in our post coming up. Again, the website is Emerge Yourself holistics.godaddysites.com. Um, we're going to get into that in a little bit, but going back to Reiki. So I understand, according to the definition that I saw on your website, it is a origin within the Japanese culture, and it is a form of energy healing.
Correct.
Okay, cool. So tell us about that. How does that help? How does that work?
Sure. So going back to everything and everybody is energy.
Hmm.
So essentially live in a body, a physical 3D body, which is our vessel that our energy and our soul and our spirit run through. And we have 7 chakras in our body, which are energy centers. I don't know how familiar you guys are with your chakras, but you essentially have 7 main centers in your body that energy runs through. And you also have a cord that goes up and down your spine, which is like your lifeline, your energy cord. And so you can tap into what is called this universal energy. So Rei stands for universal in Japanese, and then Ki stands for universal life force energy. So what you're essentially doing is you're tapping into this energy. You can call it God, source, the universe, whatever term you want to use for it. And through that, you can also run it through, obviously your spine and your chakras. And then when you're performing Reiki, it comes out through the palms of your hands and then goes in.
I believe you called it the universal life
Yes.
force. I like that.
Yes.
I've never heard that. I've never heard that the term before, but I like that universal life force.
Yes.
It's kind of inclusive of everyone and
Mm-hmm.
every being
Yes.
having that life force.
Yeah.
So I
Sometimes
thought that was the.
people get too caught up on like the names of things, as
Mm-hmm.
comes to like religion. But it's all this. It means all the same thing.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I wanted to ask you about was there was a mention of a transfer of energy. Is that what you're doing when you use your hands? Is there
Yeah.
an
So
intention when you do that?
yeah. So the energy will come out of the palm of your hand. So you'll
Okay.
have a more dominant hand that you use. So this is I use my right hand more. I use both, but my right hand more. So I use my left palm as more like a vessel. So I pull the life force energy through my left palm, and then I put it into my right palm, which is then going into whoever I'm treating.
Oh, okay. So now I understand. It's actually each palm or each hand has a specific purpose. Has a specific task,
Yes.
is what you're saying.
Yes. So when I was first getting started, before I took like my official Reiki courses, because there's Reiki 1, Reiki 2, and then your Reiki master level. Before I even did any of that, I took a course called Duality, which is by Jeffrey Allen. I'm not sure if you've heard of him. He's like a meditation and energy worker teacher, and I learned how to like manipulate and use energy first. So
Mm.
easier for me to, feel it and play with it and do things more on like a fun side. And then I went into the Reiki, which I then incorporated like the spiritual healing side of it. So I found it a lot easier for me because then I was able to really tune into and tap into that energy easier.
So, and forgive me if this sounds ignorant, but there was a cartoon that came out, or a cartoon that came out maybe a few years back, and it had all the different elementals where they use their hands to bend water or bend fire, and I thought I likened it to that. As far as what I saw you doing with your hands, it was like you were bending energy,
Yeah,
or
you
you were
are.
transferring energy.
Yes, yes, you are. Like, there's this one exercise, and anyone can do this, but if you just like imagine energy in the palms of your hands and just
Mm-hmm.
put your palms together and just relax your body, like don't overthink it too much. You can start to feel like a little ball and like tension of energy, like I have one right now. So that's something, if you guys want to practice doing that, I would recommend starting with that.
Interesting. Interesting. So how would Reiki help us? How would Reiki help a person, or what would someone why would someone come to see you to seek help with um, their energy with Reiki? Why would they come and see you? Why would someone need to come and see you?
First of all, I think Reiki has is multifaceted. I think it can have many, many different benefits. First of all, if you're looking at it or you're wanting to have Reiki done on like an energetic level. So over time, you know, we go through trauma, just life experience,
Uh-huh.
and your energy centers get clogged up, blocked off,
Mhm.
and that's how certain diseases can form, and dis-ease in your body, so your
Mhm.
energy is not flowing how it should. So if you're coming to Reiki to cleanse yourself that way, that's beneficial because your energetic body affects your physical body. So essentially, you're cleansing
Mhm.
yourself that way. Um, I also have been kind of uh, experimenting, if you will, with like physical injuries. So I play soccer, and last year I got a really bad shin injury. Uh,
Mhm.
I wish I could share the picture. My shin was like a balloon. I wasn't wearing shin guards, got kicked. It was super swollen, super bruised. I couldn't even walk on it. Um, I decided to do Reiki because you can go in. Reiki essentially is you're putting this life force energy with the intention. So you have to have intention and visualization when you do Reiki as well.
Okay.
My intention was I was removing the bad energy of like the trauma to the cells of it getting kicked, and the bruising and swelling and all that. I removed that. I then brought in clean life force energy, and I just visualized it healing.
Mhm.
And the next day it was like so much better, and I was back to playing soccer in 3 days. And I couldn't even walk on it the night before. So
Wow.
I think it has great, like physical aspects as well. I know in some hospitals they're incorporating it into like cancer patients, having cancer patients Reiki.
Really?
That is even
Wow.
like tumor sizes, and you have to be open to it. You know, if you don't believe
Mhm.
it, it's not going to work as beneficial as it could. Um, but really, it's the intention you want behind it is what benefit you'll get out of it.
I like that. I think I said this a couple weeks ago where we as people who are gifted or have abilities or have certain means like in being a Reiki master, when we can offer that alternative to any type of healing of trauma, um, physical, mental, emotional, um, you have to one like you said, you have to. It would be good if you would believe that there's this healing to take place without having the full understanding. And sometimes I think you'll find that people who don't really understand what we do to be more open and receptive than those who have been in this community for a while and you're like, no, I don't think she's doing that right. Oh, I don't think he's talking about. So, you face that opposition more freely with people who have even just a tiny bit of knowledge, but really they don't have any knowledge of all at all.
I agree.
I like the fact that we can. I think on your website it said, um, in order to live an optimal, higher quality of life, nourishing the mind, body, and soul is key.
Mm-hmm.
That was from your website, which is Emerge Yourself, holistics.godaddysites.com. If you want to book a reading with Emily here. Um, and as I started to read through your website, and I think I messaged you that I liked how you set it up.
Mm-hmm.
It incorporates three of the most important things for us: the mind, body, and soul.
Yes.
And the three elements in the mind, body, and soul, we sometimes each of them have different types of energy or different amounts of energy. And I found that when we can balance that energy, and bring those energies together on one level, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. We find a little bit more peace emotionally,
Absolutely.
even physically. We sleep better. We're able to eat better.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta for sure. I mean, especially as we get older, as we age. I think you talked about coming out of pandemic, where it was just a whole lot of everybody learning to be in contact with each other again, and everybody learning to communicate, and everybody learning to interact with each other again. It was like a 30-year-old man broke his legs and now had to learn to walk all over again. That's what the world went through. We
Yeah.
all had to learn to walk again.
Mm-hmm.
We did our little crawling on the internet with TikTok and going on lives and stuff like that, but to get back into society again, man, it was just unreal. If I can, I want to back up to a question my partner Liz had. She asked, when you're doing your using your palms, do you feel any static electrics out of your fingertips or in your hands, or is it something that you envision? How does that work?
So it's always different. Through my palm, sometimes I'll feel like heat. I wouldn't say like electric charges, but I feel heat. It'll feel very hot. Uh, it's more of like, think of like magnets resisting each other, that feeling, that like tension. That's more what it feels like to me. And then when I'm performing Reiki, sometimes I do have like visions in my third eye. Sometimes I'll also hear things or just kind of like know things, like spirit will just tell me something.
Mhm.
But it always depends. It's different every time, really.
So actually, it makes sense when you talk about polar opposites
Hmm.
with magnetic, because it is the same with electric. There are poles of electric, negative and positive,
Hmm.
and totally makes sense. So, um, I had another question for you.
Sure.
Oh, is there any other social media you'd like to let us know about that you post on a regular basis where we can go and watch, either learn something from you, say like TikTok or Facebook or something like that?
Uh,
If there's something else you'd like to share with social media with us, please do.
yeah. Right now, the only social medias I have are this Instagram account, and then I do have a TikTok as well. I get more interactions on TikTok, but
For sure.
I do post the same content, and it is the same name, so emerge underscore yourself.
Okay, cool, cool. Let's talk about your website now.
All right.
So I went on your website yesterday and I was kind of looking through, reading through it. There's history. There's an area where you can subscribe to get emails from you. So kind of excited about that, to see updates or praise reports, what we call, for people who have had past readings from you. Focus on making energy balls with your hands. It's great practice for people who want to get into it. Oh, that was from one of our community members, Annie. AIM readings. You
Yeah, yeah,
can
absolutely.
practice by learning to sit down and focus on making energy balls. So it's more like what's his name? Dragon Ball Z, Goku, or whatever they used to
That's
do that little energy balls and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what you feel like sometimes. It's cool though. It's once you learn uh how to work with it and manipulate it, you're like, wow, like this is so fascinating. I can do anything.
I think with anything, it takes practice. You
Absolutely.
know, it's something that, like for me, even myself as a medium, I don't practice it every day. I, and I purposely don't, because there's certain things I won't allow myself to be opened up to.
Hmm.
Because when I first started, I was like, yeah, bring it on. Let me know. Let me hear. And man, I did the wrong thing, you know. So now I'm very, very cautious. And there are people who ask, hey, can I get a reading from you? And if their energy that I feel from them, their vibe, is not good with me, I will not give them a reading.
Yeah,
Because
you have to protect.
obviously, yeah, if I'm not feeling good with your energy, obviously there's something behind that and might be
Hmm.
connected to you, and I don't want to
And
open myself up to that.
you don't want to tap yourself into that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And I've had to learn the hard way. So
Mm.
I don't do that anymore.
I think also it's a journey. I too was like that. In the beginning, I was so curious. I think I was like, wow, like let me learn everything,
Yeah.
and it was a lot. And then I
Mhm.
was like, okay, never mind. So I shut
Mhm.
a lot of it off, and just I would say within the last couple months, really, I have allowed myself when I got to a place where I feel that I can take that on, and I've like allowed
Mhm.
kind of open up to more. So it's
Yeah.
a journey.
Yeah.
You'll get there when you're supposed to. So
I think it is a journey, yes. It is lessons for us. It is us actually caring enough about ourselves. People in the neighborhood are destroying each other. That's fireworks. You might hear it in the back. Anyway, sorry about that. Let's get back to topic. On your website, there's several services that you offer, and I like how you have it um, the the price wise. And we won't mention it on here. We want people to go on that website to go check it out. But I like how you made those prices. The numbers were just they're perfect. They're awesome.
that was guided. I was pricing myself way lower, and I was really struggling, I think, with asking for that much. And I had done a few sessions, and I was like, man, I'm doing a lot of work and spending a lot of time for like the amount I'm charging. And Spirit was just like, you should be start charging this amount. Like, people will pay for it. The people who
Hmm.
are supposed to come to you will come to you, and everything will work out fine. So I'm following divine guidance is what I call it.
I think I think it's great, and I've never wanted to charge for a reading, and I probably won't. Maybe not. I will see. But for those like yourself, those like AIM readings like Annie, who this is a business for you.
Mm.
And I think there is enough knowledge and education that you all have and experience that you all have that you need to have that confidence to say this service to provide. Like one of them you have is a Reiki plus spiritual massage for 1 hour and 15 minutes. That's 75 minutes of your time. That's 75 minutes of working with energy. That's 75 minutes of working with your hands and your mind and your body and making everything in tune. I mean, that's not something we should take lightly. So you need to have that confidence and say, I am worth X amount of dollars.
Mm.
If I was to give like Annie, if she was to do a tarot reading, and believe me, she does some amazing readings. She is so spot on. She is so on point. A lot of times, I don't think she even realizes how great she is. And I've said this to her before, but you have to have that confidence to say, yeah, I do more than anyone else can probably do for you in a reading because I care that much, not just about yourself, but I care about me. I care about my work. I love what I do. I also care about this is another education for me doing this reading. I'll learn something new every time, and I'm sure it's the same for
Yeah.
you. And every client you have, you learn something different, something new, and you're going to work that into the next one. Or, hey, this comes up again. I know what to do now.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so you have to have that confidence in your. In I'm worth X amount of dollars. I'm worth this much. I really am.
Yeah. And I think it definitely comes with time. Confidence, especially, has been something I have personally been working on.
Mm,
Um, and so I think being able to throw away the shame that was like asking for money and pricing yourself, I guess is what you could say it. When you view it as, well, doctors, you know, you pay to go into a doctor's office, you pay to have a gym membership or a nutritionist, like stuff that takes care of yourself. You're investing back in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And when you find good, true, whole, intended people that do stuff like this, I think that it's worth investing in them and their skills, which is benefiting you as well, because you're ultimately, you know, investing back in yourself too.
I think as creators, and those of us on the internet, and those of us being vulnerable to everybody else, and our commenters and people who are, I don't care what he does. All he does is talk about him, or all he does is talk about this. But we as creators, whether we want to or not, we have to kind of have thick skin for one when it comes to like that kind of negativity, especially on the internet. But we also have to have the confidence. And a lot of times, like myself, I don't like to be in front of a camera. You'll never find a selfie of me on my Instagram just because. And I don't think I'm an ugly guy, but I don't think I'm a guy that would take selfies every day and go at certain angles and looking at myself and put some kind of hashtag to it, because that's not who I am.
Yeah.
You know, I created I don't want to say character, but I created a personality for me that suits me when I'm with a person connecting live one on one. There's more confidence for me then, and I think I explained it to you and all of our past guests that our podcast is very casual.
Yeah.
It's just two people having a conversation. It's two people connecting, and I think the world and technology has made it too easy for us to have that disconnect where we've forgotten the art of interacting with one another, of the art of communication, the art of having a conversation.
Yeah.
And I remember for me, some of my favorite times was just having a conversation with people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, I was just agreeing. Yeah, the art of, I think we've lost the art of connecting people and just the world, because we're so in the tech world, and we live in that sometimes, and it's easy to get sucked into that.
Mm-hmm.
But when you break yourself free, you're like, oh, this is refreshing.
It
And
is. It is.
it can't be duplicated. You know, we have all this like AI and like robots
Oh
coming
yeah.
out now. People are scared, which I get, but it's like you can't mimic or recreate human connection. So I think it's important.
Right. I think coming from a Christian background, I believe we were designed as humans to interact with one another.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the Bible said, okay, in 2023, we're all going to have our own devices and communicate through that. I mean, it's not even in the book of Revelations or anything like that, but I believe we were designed to have that interaction with one another. And even in the art of the conversation, even in having this connection now, there is an energy that is flowing between us.
Mm-hmm.
And it's unseen, but it's felt.
Yes, you can definitely feel it.
And the people who are in the chat room, the people who will be watching the replay of this podcast on our YouTube channel, there's an energy that a lot of people feel
Mm-hmm.
when they watch the replay. There's an energy. So I myself, I go back and I watch each replay at least twice, because every time there's something new I've learned in it.
Oh yeah.
And I love the fact that when that energy is transferred between myself and the guest, or anybody else that's on video, when my partner Grizz, or we're doing readings, I think it's such a beautiful thing to have that exchange of energy.
Yes.
And I think that's why, for me, I've always wanted to understand how Reiki works. So let's get back to
Sure.
that. You have several types of packages or sessions. There's a Reiki and spiritual massage messages.
Message.
I'm sorry, messages, and that would be in person, correct?
So I offer in person, or I do offer distance as well. So I'm in the Colorado area, near Denver. So if you live
Okay.
around, be in person. If not, we could do distance.
Okay, I did see you have distance Reiki and spiritual message, which I thought that was kind of cool.
Mhm.
You
Uh,
know.
what that is while I'm doing your Reiki session, I, open myself up to spirit, all things that come in the light and love of
Hmm.
God, nothing dark or anything like that. Um, and so they'll give me maybe messages for you, and I'll also go through things that I feel, things that I see during your session, and also I'll go into detail about what I feel, see, and experience when I go through and clean each chakra too, because like in your crown chakra, you might be fairly like the energy is flowing really well, and then it stops at your throat chakra where that needs more work. So I'll go into detail about that, and that's usually over like a voice memo if we're doing a distance. They usually are about like 15 to 20 minutes long, and then you'll have that to keep as well.
Well, geez, if that's the case, I mean, the packages that you have priced is like, I'll go by which is like cool. Like I like the pricing the way you have it set up, but I believe, and this is just my personal opinion, I believe it's probably worth twice that
Oh,
much. The amount of work and energy, and I mean, there is you've had to do some learning behind that. You've had to go through different courses, like you said, and it's not just that. There's a practice time, like pilots. You have to have so much in air time before you can even get your bars.
yeah, I even had to practice on animals as well, so it wasn't just humans. Because animals, you can do Reiki on animals as well. So I was practicing on my dogs for my master course, as well as humans as well.
Man, your dog must have been living a high life. Yeah, hey, I could use a massage back here, and
It's
you know.
it's so funny because the one is all for it. She'll just lay there and let me do it to her, and then the other one, she can be a little squirmy sometimes. So if she is getting squirmy and doesn't want it, I'll just stop, and I'm like, all right, we'll try again later.
Who would have known that your dog is an empath, right?
I know, right?
So, um, I do see there's three packages, and two of them are distance, which is good. The third package I saw you offered was a distance chakra balancing. I think we talked about that for a little bit, right?
Yes. So what
And
that
that's for 45 minutes.
Yeah, so what that one is, that's just specifically me going through your chakras, aligning them, cleansing them, and then making
Mm.
sure, they're in alignment. Um, I will say Reiki is a tool, but ultimately you are still in control. We all have free will over ourselves. So if you are also not doing the work that comes with like energy healing, sometimes there's only so much a practitioner can do. Like if I'm
Mm.
trying to clear out your heart chakra and you are holding on to something, or you have a block in there that maybe you don't want me to be open to,
Mm-hmm.
like, there's so much I can do, and the rest you would have to dive deeper if you really wanted to. But at least I would be able to clean out as much as that person would be willing to let go.
Interesting. The type of work that you do, type of work that we have a few people in our community in the chat room right now, including my partner and myself, who we do use our abilities, our gifts to help others. And for some of us, it is a business. There's a couple in here that they use their work as a business, and for me, my personal history with the spiritual work, with mediumship, with being an empath, with even having dream interpretation, interpreting dreams as well. But I've gone the route after a very life-changing trauma, looking for help, and I tried the traditional ways
Mm-hmm.
and opening up my Bible again and taking medications, which I really hate, and going to see doctors to help me and sort things out. And you know what? After a couple of years of doing it, it didn't work for me. The traditional ways of finding healing didn't work for me. And so I never thought I would seek out alternative ways. And I think that's what we offer
Mm-hmm.
is an alternative to the traditional. And it comes with a bit of faith, just like anything else, just like in Christianity. It comes with a bit of faith
Mm-hmm.
by myself, by you, and learning, listening to what I would like to learn and teach you and work with you. And I did find a lot of closure through the non-traditional alternative way. And we're able to close a lot of doors to a lot of healing and put a lot of stuff behind me,
That's great.
you know. And it's just people who know me now are like, man, you were like, we couldn't stand you. We can talk to you. You were so closed off. Your energy was, your vibe was really bad. And they're right. I was. Went through something that I didn't thought I would have to go through. It changed. I didn't like it, but I like now being able to find others like yourself
Mm-hmm.
who have an alternative way of saying, "Hey, let's approach this problem, but let's do it in an alternative way. Let me
Mm-hmm.
help you with this way." Because I have an understanding of it's not just the words you say, it's not just the physical side of you. There is something deeper than that, which is, in your case, like the energy in your body, the chakras in your body, the balancing that, the aligning that. And, you know, there's only so much for me journaling and meditating can do every day, but there has to be more than that. So I guess my question is, do you find that there are people who are in this type of work, as far as being alternative healers, that actually come and ask you, hey, I could use a chakra balancing or chakra clearing?
Absolutely. And I also will seek things out. I think, it's hard when you are a healer and a teacher because you think you have to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And you you don't always allow yourself to be human. And I think finding the balance of that is super important because yes, I feel like I do a good job of like living by what I preach.
Mm-hmm.
But I also can get sucked into like life. Like life happens, we're all human, we all have feelings and things happen. Um, but when I feel myself getting off like that, I feel like you can't be afraid to ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you're just suffering in silence. So when I, feel myself getting heavy inside, or I don't know how to deal with something, or maybe I'm purging like
Mm-hmm.
an old uh, belief or emotion, and it's overwhelming, I contact like my teachers, or my uh, friends and I know that do Reiki, and I'm like, hey, can we schedule a session because I'm really struggling, and vice versa. So I think you
Mm-hmm.
have to allow yourself to be human as well,
Yeah.
and you can try to control it as much as you want, but ultimately you're not in control. You're not in control.
Well, yeah, there are things that are not in our control, and you're right. I mean, life does happen, and I kind of said it a few times that just because we are on a different path of finding spiritual healing. Not everything is love and light. There's a lot of bullshit in the world, and you get handed that every single day, and people around you have that energy, that bullshit energy. We need to clear that butthole chakra and just get that out of our lives. And I find that I'm much more, I can spot them out a lot quicker. Those
Yeah.
those those butthole energies, that
A lot
the asshole energy. Yeah.
before, yeah, you're like, ooh.
Yeah, I'm like, I'll turn the other way. Oh no, no, no,
Yeah.
no, no. I don't need that in my life. But what is the hardest part you think of doing the type of work that you did? What is the most difficult thing to do for you as a Reiki master? Maybe as far as readings, or what is the most
Uh,
difficult part?
at first, the hardest thing was being able to trust myself. And as I continued to do healings and readings, and people confirmed what I was saying,
Mhm.
and feel, I was able to build my confidence up. So I think that was hard at first, but now I think, what was the ask me the question again?
Must not be. There must not be any
I
difficulty then.
know.
So I guess the question was if there's anything you find difficult in the type of work that you do.
Oh, I think it is recognizing and realizing that I can only do so much and
Mm.
so much for other people, and ultimately they are responsible for the information I give them. I'm here to help and I'm here to guide, but ultimately they are responsible for doing the heavy lifting, and
Mm.
especially with people very close to me, like family, like relationships, like boyfriends. I always want to try to like fix people because I'm like, hey, here's what your spirits are telling me.
Yeah.
Here's how you can help yourself. But
Right.
then letting them experience, and I have to take a step back and realize that that's their journey, and
Hmm.
just how I need to get to where I am today. I had to go through a lot of, like you were saying, hardships and lessons, to be able to be the person that I am today. And if you don't let other people go through those and experience those, then you're kind of like taking that away from them, and they
Yep.
don't get the benefit of learning that lesson. So I think that's what I struggle most with now, is kind of learning that boundary.
I think I think all of us go through that, where our our whole being, our whole body wants to help others, and because we understand the trauma and the hurt that they're going through, and it's natural for us to say, "Hey, I can help you with that. Hey, let me heal you from that." But
Yeah,
I think we rob them of that experience of understanding what the darker times are to appreciate the lighter times.
absolutely.
And for me, I was like, yeah, I wanted to go help everybody I could. And okay, so my trauma, my life changing trauma, everybody's tired of hearing this story, was a divorce. And it was ugly. It was messy. It was ugly. It was just emotional. It was a ton of bricks hitting me at once. I
Yeah,
wasn't expecting it. And it made me hard. It made me closed off. And I built so many walls around myself emotionally and mentally, and trying to find that help, because I was tired after 7 years of living like that. I was tired of carrying these baggage and chains and hurts and emotions, and I tried the traditional ways that didn't work, and I found the alternative ways of finding healing. Um, I understood that I needed to go through those really dark times, those really bad times, to understand the better times.
mm-hmm.
And not every day is a good day. Not every day is a day full of light or love.
Yeah,
There are days when it could be the most perfect day for me, and the next day it'll be just a little shit show, and I just want to, like, I give up. I'm done. And who can I talk to? I need somebody to talk to. I live alone,
mm-hmm.
so having a conversation with myself, sometimes I never win. The conversation never goes my way. So there's that. But
Yeah,
anyway, I think that's why I really wanted to create a community where we can find each other and say, hey, you know what, Annie, I could really use an ear, or you know what, Emily, I could really use some more with my chakras and getting that balanced out, or I can't understand this energy that I'm feeling, and I really could use some help with that. That's one of the main things why my partner and I created this community, this online community, and eventually evolved into this weekly podcast, was to have that little network that we can go back into and say, hey, I need your help. Hey, I could use this. Hey, I just need an ear, something like that. And we're growing. We're finding people who are not just artists, because I've had several artists on here, but there's a lot of spirituality even behind them in their work and what they do, especially as creators and artists. And some of the energy is a little darker than others, but they're okay with living in that place. And I have to be okay with people living in their
Mm-hmm.
darkness. I cannot go and I've got the flashlight.
Yep.
Let me light up your world, because I'm robbing you of an experience
Yeah.
that you're supposed to have. Make
Yeah. And
sense?
I think something else to help with that is we kind of just have to sit back and observe people
Mm,
and let people be who they are.
mm-hmm,
And like saying, just find your tribe and find people that align with you morally, and then let
mm-hmm,
people be different in their own ways. You might not agree with something they like, or even like it, but you can
mm-hmm.
accept that that's who they are,
Right,
and sit back and observe and not take that on.
right. And I think as healers, as people who want to help others, sometimes that can be a struggle for some of us, because we always want to, at the end, we want everybody to feel
Yeah.
good. We want everybody to feel lighter, and we want everybody to feel healed. But I think I had a conversation with one of my sons, and we were talking about trauma. We were talking about disconnect. We were talking about how things in his life didn't really go well how he wanted or planned it to go. And I said, you know what? It didn't for me as well. And sometimes we're taken to a place to understand that there's something else better for us at the top of the hill. We just have to have enough faith to want to get up that hill,
Mm-hmm.
because there's something else better for us waiting there.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to understand to maybe appreciate what's up there by seeing the things that are not does not suit us the best,
Yeah.
you know. And it's something I said earlier too as well. But he kind of understood. And both my sons are like tremendously intelligent. They are way smarter than me. And I told them that. I said, you guys have surpassed me in the school many years ago. But I like the fact that at least one of them, he's a little bit more open to the spiritual side. We talk a lot about the spiritual side. We talk a lot about energies now, because he too now is understanding that everyone is energy. Everyone has energy.
Yeah.
Everyone puts out energy. So I would do this thing on our podcast where I had you put two fingers on your screen, and I put two fingers on my screen on my end, and I could actually, there was a couple times I did it, I could really feel the other person's energy. I
Yeah.
could really able to connect with them and their energies, and I could see things that, and I try and be very respectful. I think one of my fears was when I first got my first tarot reading, I was like, I don't want them to see the ugly stuff in my life.
Yeah.
But really,
I have.
it was my fear, and ultimately it was I needed to see the ugly things in my life.
Mm-hmm.
But when I gave my readings, and there were things that were probably not best to be mentioned on air, I would message them afterwards. I go, hey, just thought I'd share this with you
Yeah.
out of respect for them. And I think any one of us that does this type of readings or the type of work that you do, or like for you, the energies you feel or see, or even more than what you see, if there's things that may not work for ourselves on a higher purpose, that we find a way to deliver the message with the softest blow.
Yes. I think that is something I've had to learn to do, because sometimes the way I'm seeing things is very, I don't want to I don't want to say harsh, but just very like cut and clear, like this is what the problem is, and people aren't always ready to fight on themselves and look at themselves in the mirror and be honest with themselves, which is fine. Again, it's all a journey.
Mm-hmm.
But again, you make sure that you're them and make them aware, because it's coming up for a reason. So I feel like if I hold that information back from you, I'm also not doing my job. So yes, trying to find a very soft way. I'll say a lot of the times, like, I don't mean this in any judgmental way or a bad way. Like, this is just what's coming through.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Your spirit is telling me, Luca, you're talking too much. Shut up. Let her talk. So I'm gonna close my mouth for a few minutes.
Okay.
I know you said there are things that you wanted to talk about as well, and I would like to give you that opportunity if you'd like.
Oh, sure. I was just gonna kind of share my backstory, and then I guess I was gonna open it up in case anyone had any like specific questions for how I kind of like got into this work and how I created Emerge Yourself and came up with it and everything. So like I said, my mom is the one who introduced me to Reiki. I started going to Reiki about 6-7 years ago, and fell in love with it. It completely transformed my life. At the time, I thought it was transforming my life at the time, and then I look back now where I'm at, presently, and it's like, oh my gosh, I would have never even thought. So I have been going to Reiki for about 4 years, and then I was in a really abusive relationship, where I completely hit rock bottom. Um, and after I was able to get away from, my abuser, I really had to kind of look at myself and say, like, how did we get here?
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing, I was super skinny because I wasn't eating. They put me on antidepressants, anti-anxiety medicine, and I just felt horrible. I didn't even want to take them anymore, so I stopped. I was doing like talk therapy, and it just wasn't helping the way I thought it should be. So that's when I really decided to dive deeper into Reiki and the holistic side. And I had this like huge spiritual awakening. And oh, sorry, he's falling.
Out.
But little, when I was little, I always had a dream of like helping people, and I, grew up to be an elementary school teacher because ultimately I didn't have a good school experience, so I wanted to be a good role model and teacher for my students and be that person for them. So that's how I got into teaching.
Mm-hmm.
But I always knew I wanted to teach and help people. And so then when I went through this and had this like awakening, God was just kind of like, all right, well, this is your path to that. And so I was at my lowest low. I really dove into my spirituality and, like I said, working with energy, and then eventually going into Reiki and learning how to facilitate energy through me and healing. And then everything just started to really take off, and I felt so whole, and I constantly was learning and changing my mind and my perspective, and life was just so much lighter and so much more beautiful. I really suffered a lot from um I was suicidal as a teenager. I didn't enjoy life. I honestly wanted to die. Like, I didn't want to be here. And I feel like after this, it really just woke me up, and I felt this joy of life that I've never experienced, and I just want to be able to help as many people as I can. Like, that's the ultimate goal. And Emerge Yourself came because I want people to, I was in such a bubble, in a shell, and I wasn't even like living life or experiencing things. And when I was finally able to break out of that, because I had no choice, because I was at rock bottom, like, we can't go any lower. When I was forced to break out of that, it was so beautiful. So then that's how I created Emerge Yourself, and really resonate with like butterflies and love butterflies, and you'll see a lot of like butterflies in my symbols and my business
I
cards.
love
And
that.
so
I
yeah,
love that.
so it's kind
I,
of my journey on
I, no, I'm sorry, good. I love that story. It's,
yeah.
it's a question I've asked before. A lot of us who come to do this type of work, there was some kind of a trauma in our lives that we experienced.
Mm-hmm.
I, too, growing up as a young adult in my 20s, I was very suicidal. I've tried a couple times. Thank goodness I was not successful at it, but it really, every time I did it, it left residual scars, energetic scars, emotional scars, not the physical scars of it, but it also left, mm, I want to say, like a really nasty slug trail behind me because people who knew me, they they saw that ugly trail that I left behind me of years of wanting to not be around anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I think when you have, whew, so Spirit is telling me, I don't want to jump too far ahead, but
Oh,
Spirit is
you're
telling
good.
me that you, as I see this orange light around you right now,
Okay.
that you're learning to to laugh again.
Yeah.
You're learning to find, you've brought yourself to this place of peace right
Yeah.
now. Do me a favor. Will you put this two fingers on your screen? Are you open to that?
Of course.
I'll let you know when to release your fingers.
Let me uncross.
Wow. Okay. Some very, very heavy energy, and it's not a negative heavy energy. It is an energy of the years of carrying this suitcase full of clothes that were tattered and
Mm-hmm.
wrinkled and torn, and the embarrassment of wearing this clothes. It's more like not the physical clothes itself, but the face that you show, the emotions, the whole body language of you.
Yeah.
That's what I'm relating this clothes in your luggage. And it was just you years of pulling that around with one broken wheel and trying to find a place where you could land and transport to change your life.
Yeah.
And there was no peace, there was no happiness, there was fear, of course, and I know you talked about that in the relationship that you were in, but there was also you always had your head cocked one way or the other because you felt like you were always trying to look behind you. You're always trying to look behind, watch your back. There was this fear of I need to watch my back. I don't know if something was going to happen or something you felt or something you believed was going to happen or you were made to feel that way. It was always a turning your head back and looking behind you.
Yeah.
the whole time. And there was just this unrest. And I understand why now you were skinny, because it affected your body, your body. It affected your tolerance. You were sick a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It affected your tolerance. It affected the mind, and ultimately it affected the heart, of course. And that was the first thing to hit. Spirit, spirit is saying the heart is the strongest muscle in the human body, because it has to pump this blood from the central part of your body to every little crevice in your fingers and your toes. Pump this blood throughout your body. It is the strongest muscle in your body, but the easiest to break. And I think that's something that you experienced as
Yeah.
well. And it took you not only family, friends, few close connections, people that there was a trust issue as well. There was a major trust issue, and I get it because I felt the same way,
Mm-hmm.
where the people you taught, or the person you taught you could trust the most, actually did the most damage.
Mm-hmm.
Moving forward, there's such a peace now. I got really emotional. I've never felt that way with doing this reading with someone, this type of reading. There was such an emotion, and I could see. So what I was seeing was this Disneyland had it one time where Ariel in the where you take pictures with Ariel, and she would come out of this shell where it opened up like that.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's what's I was seeing as far as you and your journey, where there was this beautiful ball of light, or maybe this pearl, and I was seeing this thing open up, and I got really emotional just watching this thing open up really slowly. And what was opening, what I was seeing, was a representation of you. Was this beautiful ball of light? Was this pearl? And it clicked in my head, my understanding of emerge yourself, and that's what this was. You emerging as yourself.
Yeah.
You emerging as a beautiful light,
Yeah.
and I love that.
Wow. Thank you for that beautiful reading. I'm like trying not to cry over here. That was beautiful. Thank you.
And like I said, it was a heavy energy, but it wasn't a negative. It was a good energy. It was a good kind of energy.
Yeah, powerful, a lot of emotion. I feel, and I'm sure you can relate to this as an empath, you feel so deeply, and that is a superpower, and it
Mm-hmm.
also can be a lot to carry all the time, because
Yeah.
just as you feel and radiate the good, you can also feel the heavy and negative stuff. And growing up, I just felt trapped and unseen all the time, and just so disconnected. And like I said, that relationship that put me at my lowest point flung me to where I am now. And like I said, this is the most joyful and happy and at peace I have felt in my life. And I feel like I really am just myself, and I am just calling in all these opportunities because I am allowing myself to be. That's what I want to.
You understand that by going through that type of relationship, that really, really, really bad place, it was something that was part of your journey.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say you were destined to go through that, but it was something that was necessary
It was very.
to make your story now, your origin story, make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yep.
there would be the missing piece. Okay, I don't understand this part, but when you put everything together now with your origin story and how you had to really survive that really the little darker places of our lives. And I think we all go through that, the
Yeah,
really
and
darker places in our lives. And it's necessary to appreciate the lighter side. And it just makes your story more complete now. It makes your whole story put in together in like this really beautiful package. This
mhm.
beautiful package wrapped up with a little pretty. Pink's not your favorite color.
No, it's funny. I actually hate the color pink, but I'm just now allowing myself to like certain types of pink. Like as a kid,
Yeah.
I was like, I hate the color pink, ew. But now I'm starting to be like, oh, okay. Like I love like a blush, like a real gentle pink, nothing too like Pepto-Bismol-y.
Yeah, that's a little bright.
Yeah,
That's a neon pink almost.
pink.
So I would like to allow you the time if you would like to, and maybe I would have to be the person to work on, but I would like to give you the opportunity to possibly do a mini session, unless there's someone in the chat who would like to join us on video. So I'm
Yeah.
opening this up, but with your permission first.
Oh, of
If you're
course.
open to it, okay, because after all, we wanna get a little sample of it and get a little taste. And okay, we're gonna go to. So we are
Oh,
talking tonight
I
to
love it.
Emerge Yourself, Emily, on Instagram. She has her website, emergeyourself.godaddysites.com. Go check it out. There are several packages or sessions that she offers, and these sessions can be made at a distance as well. So even if she's in Colorado, she can do it for anybody in California or Hawaii or whatever the case is, if you're open to it.
Yep.
And the best way to go to understand this is to just go in open-minded. So I'm going to open it up real quick to anyone who would like to join us on live. Grizz, or Annie, if you're there, or Shonda, if you'd like to join us. I'm going to give it a minute, and then we're going to move on. But I would really like to give her, Emily, the opportunity to kind of share with us. And while we're waiting for somebody to put up their hand or to join us on the video, your journey is so short in 7 years that you've come so far. There are
Yeah.
people who have done their work for many years,
Mm.
and that there is okay. So spirit is saying, well, why? Okay, spirit is telling me that there's an excitement on your part because the novelty for you has not worn off yet, if that makes sense. There is
Oh,
more for you to discover.
okay. Yeah. I I want to continue diving deeper. Like I feel like I know a lot, but it even goes way beyond what I know. And like the saying, you don't know what you don't know. I I have, an abundant amount of knowledge, and I am proud of myself for how far I've come and the work I've put in the last 7 years because it has been a lot of work, and I feel like I am just now these past couple months been able to relax and enjoy and
Mm-hmm.
see like the fruits of my labor coming to fruition, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's been a lot of hard work, but definitely worth it. I also, it's funny you say novelty. I'm also writing a book about like my experience, and diving into domestic abuse and how that all like kind of like a memoir, and how that happened and projected me to where I am here. Um, that I hope to be finishing by the end of this year, and have been in contact with some publishing companies. So I wonder if that's what they're referring to when they say that. That's funny.
How about this? Does the phrase inspirational speaker make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Spirit was just like, do you know she's going to be an inspirational speaker someday?
That,
Really?
that's why I'm writing this book, because I want to use my experience to share the lessons and gifts that I have learned throughout the way, and to be able to help people incorporate those lessons in their life and just be the best version. I want everyone to be the best
Mm.
authentic version of themselves. I don't want you to be like me. I want you to be like you. And that's what I want to inspire people to do.
I can feel your excitement. And it kind of goes back to like with me after my divorce. The struggle was real. The struggle was really real. It was, excuse my language, it was fucking real. Okay,
Yes.
we can say this here because we're a monetized
Oh,
whatever.
thank
But the she doesn't she, Tina? She's
you. That's so
such
nice.
a beautiful energy and aura. Tina is one of our guests, our past guests. She's now a friend. She's part of our community. We'll get to that.
Oh, beautiful.
But I wanted to, once I started to get on track of finding a healing, which was temporary, which was traditional, I was motivated to become someone like a counselor to help others like myself deal with separation or divorce. And in my own way, it was an abusive relationship. It was mentally, emotionally,
Mm,
and one time physical. So um, narcissistic for sure.
yep.
Ooh, she's gonna see this replay. Hello.
Same, same.
Anyway,
Relate.
but right, not gonna say names, but you know who you are. Um, and I just wanted to go out there and change the world for men who are suffering from a divorce. And
Mm,
I didn't go that route because I got too buried in myself again. The traditional way didn't help. But I find myself now coming back to have had two conversations in the last month with men who are about to get divorced. And I know it's the universe going, okay, remember what you had to go through?
mm,
Yeah, they're going to need your help.
mm.
And I have to be open to that.
Yeah.
And
Eh,
I know that my solution to my problem is not going to solve your problem.
right.
There is a certain solution for every single one of us. So, motivational speaker, write that down because this is the confirmation for you.
I have a dream. I have a dream of that, and I have had visions of being on stage speaking to
Mm-hmm.
people. It's funny because I have such a fear of public speaking, and like getting up in front of people. I have such a fear. I'm such a shy, reserved person. But I've been really trying to break out of my shell, and
Mm-hmm.
I know that that's what I want to do. So if I want to do that, I have to get over this fear.
Hey,
So
that's why we practice here. That's why we do this. It's a practice for us.
and most
Okay?
time after I do something, I'm like, oh, that wasn't even that bad. Like I really enjoyed that. Oh, it
Yeah.
was just my like tricks on me.
I think a lot of times, even though we are spiritual, even though we are what people say awoke, even though we're at that love and light level of our higher selves or whatever, there are times when ego gets in the way and go, nope, you're not going to succeed at that. Nope. I get that all the time,
Yeah.
you know. There are times when, like, I would jump on getting ready for a podcast. I'm like nervous as fuck. Excuse my language. I'd be nervous as heck. And I would jump on and go, okay, we'll just, it'll work. And I learned to actually take a few minutes and calm my energy. Okay, Grizz. Grizz is going to go to bed. I think her meds are kicking in. Good night, Granny Gracious. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Um, that I take a few minutes, I calm my energy, and I kind of scan my body. What I'm learning to do is to scan my body from head to toe and understand where there is a lacking of it. A lot of times, it's never here. I don't have a problem in speaking. You probably figured that out tonight. I can speak all night if you let me.
Yeah.
And that's what happens for people who live alone. But um, for me, a lot of times it's the heart chakra. And a lot of times it's the brain or the head chakra, and
Yes.
there's a disconnect between this and this.
Oh, you took the words out of my mouth. I was gonna say when that happens, it's because they're disconnected, which is normal. I get like that a lot too. I'll know things in my heart and hear things from spirit on like guidance I should taking and doing, and then I'll get so in my mind about it and start overthinking, and that's because it's connected. So really, you want to operate and live in your heart space as much as possible.
Yeah, my grandfather used to say, before you open your mouth, make sure your head and your heart is working with the same pace.
So they're
And
connected. Yeah.
I didn't understand that until I got older, and I was like, yeah, all right, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I heard that before, that we should stay in our heart space, and sometimes, uh, man, we can get so cluttered in, like, so this is what we'll work on tonight. We'll do a reading with myself. Unless anyone else in the chat, this is your last chance. We're going to do a mini session of Reiki work with Emily tonight. If you'd like one, go add yourself to the video and I'll bring you up. But there's
Or
been
I could do
such,
all of you at one time.
okay, whatever works. Whatever you'd like to do. I'm going to leave it up to you. There's been such a difficulty in my family this past week where energies were all over the place and people were not in their hearts but in their heads and in their egos.
Full moon.
Yeah, I know people say that. I really don't understand all that kind of stuff yet, but um, all I know is that people, my siblings, my family, everybody wants a certain thing for a certain person in their way, and not thinking of me. I'm the empath. I'm like, okay, we'll do it your way. Oh no, okay, let's do it your way. Okay, no, let's do it your way. I can't stand that shit.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to learn to stick up for myself. I go, nope, we're not doing that. Nope, I'm not taking that. Nope, I don't need that. Oh, why didn't you call me back? I don't need your vibe today. I need my own vibe today, and I'm going to stay in that. Yeah, but we need to talk. We'll talk when I'm ready.
You have to protect yourself, and saying no and setting boundaries is hard.
Yeah.
But you have to want what's best for you, and you can love people from a distance, but you don't need to always take on their energy and their stuff that they're with.
It's hard when you're a lifetime people pleaser, you know?
Yes, I've let people break it. Trying to set back hard.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I guess, sadly for me, after my divorce, I felt like unwanted, and it just boosted that pleasing others more. Like, okay, now I feel like I have meaning in my life because these people need me, and it became to a point I didn't understand that it would lead to a point where people would take advantage of me.
Yeah, and when
And that was just bullshit.
And just a genuine person will take advantage of you.
Sadly, some of them are right within your own family. Sadly.
Oh yeah.
So with that said, guys, anybody watching tonight, and I know there's a lot of people in our community that is here joining us tonight. Thank you for interacting with Emily. We are talking to Emily Emerge Yourself on Instagram. Her website, please go check it out. emergeyourself.godaddysites.com. Go book a session with her. So there's several packages you can choose from, even packages for a distance. And we're going to actually get maybe a mini session
Yeah.
with Emily tonight before we close out. Emily, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining us tonight. I've actually got a different perspective about Reiki, so I'll probably be hitting you up a little bit more and go, hey, how does this work? Hey, talk to me about that. Um, it could be a chance for us to get back together again, and I would like to do a monthly podcast where all we do is readings for others, or we do Reiki sessions for others, mini
Oh,
Reiki sessions for others, you know. I want to be able to offer something like that. We have a lot of people in our community who wants to come on and do tarot reading or oracle card, or there's some people who've been messaging me. They wanted me to do more mediumship readings, and I'm not ready for that yet. This podcast is meant for us to feature guests and
mhm.
creators and to create a community. And if need be, I'll do reading on the side, which is fine for me. But tonight, Emily, man, the energy that you give off, the vibe that you give off is really, it's very calming
Oh,
and
thank you.
soothing and very, it feels like you're so really in tune with who Emily is now.
Yeah.
And there is there's such a comfort and a peace about it now for you. And even in a singleness, even as being single, I don't know if this pertains to you. I feel like it does in a way, but even in being single, there, there is a relationship in that you have so accepted and loved so beautifully. And I do see you helping out young women. I do see that. I do see you being an inspirational speaker and helping out young women.
Thank
Really
you.
do.
Thank you.
So
Uh,
amazing. Any last words for us before we do this little mini reading and we'll close up?
I just want to say thank you for the opportunity. Like I said, this is my first podcast, my first, and like any kind of similar thing. I've never done anything like this. I'm trying to, like I said, break out of that shell because that's not serving me, and I feel like I am fully ready to just step into my purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I am just so grateful that that could be through your platform today. So thank you, and thank you everyone who's here
It is
watching.
us, it is myself and my partner and our community who's grateful for you taking some time out tonight
Yeah,
and sharing your origin story and sharing as much as you did and allowing me to tap into your energy, beautiful energy. I tell you, I see great things for you. I'm excited. I kind of like, hey, 1 year from now, can you come back and go? So I was in Paris last week and giving an inspirational talk to about 1,300 young women. And oh yeah, next week I go to Australia. I'm going to be giving 2 sessions there, and I can see
I
that.
will take it. I will allow that to come into my life.
Cool,
So
cool.
for me, but yes, always I will make time for you.
Cool. And I appreciate you even tonight. Man, who's this dude reaching out to me? Because I asked other guests, like, what even made you answer? Because nowadays there's so many trolls here on Instagram. And before I type things out, I try and be so genuine and authentic and go, hey, this is us. Take a look behind the curtain. I got nothing to hide.
Yeah.
Go check out my Instagram. Go check out our YouTube channel. This
Mhm.
is us. And I think we tried before, maybe last year or something like that, and the timing wasn't right. And
No.
I was like kind of disappointed then, but I knew this time the timing was right.
In the fall, I was yeah, I was going through a lot of personal things.
Oh yeah, the
Um
timing wasn't
no,
right. It's okay.
it wouldn't I would not have been able to bring I don't even like it's so funny because really I don't even recognize myself who I was even like back then. Like I'm a whole new person. And I was shedding a lot at that time and things were really heavy for me. So I don't think I would have been able to bring the light and energy that I've been able to bring today.
Okay, well, now that you bring that up, I wasn't going to, but I'll say it because I think it's important for you to hear it, and I would like to leave it in this video. As I went through your Instagram, I usually try and go through people's Instagram to kind of get an idea what questions to ask, get a better picture, a snapshot of who Emily is. And I didn't really see things that were like, oh, I got to ask her this. Oh, I need to ask her that. But what I did see was an evolution of your energy. What I did see was an evolution of how your posts changed, your facial features, the way you smiled, the even your eyes was different. You know, your whole vibe was different from what I saw from the earlier posts until now. There's such a different vibe. And I think the word I want to use, two words, an evolution of who Emily is now, and also a more genuine, like you said, authentic person of who Emily
Yeah.
is. And I thought that was beautiful. I actually wrote that down on my notes.
Oh,
I usually
okay.
take notes of every guest, and I write down notes, and that was part of my notes. There was such a genuineness of your energy from before to now.
Well, thank you. It's so funny you bring that up because literally last night, I was just like thinking about, today and us talking, and I was just kind of like getting myself in a good mental state. Like I like to kind of prepare myself so I feel like I'm ready and can bring the best me, that I have. And I was looking through my videos and I was like, wow. I was like, I don't even recognize this person. I said, my face looks so different. My eyes, like, if you really look at my eyes, I look so sad. And there was one I specifically posted about, like, mental health and spirituality because to be honest, was going through a suicidal episode. I genuinely wanted and was planning on taking my life. Um, and like looking at myself making that video, I was like, I look so sad. Like I knew I had a purpose and I knew that I eventually would get to this point, but when you're wrapped up in all that heaviness and just
Mm-hmm.
light, sometimes you feel like you can't get out and that you're
Yeah,
drowning, and I
yeah,
definitely felt like I was drowning. But now I realize I was just shedding old parts of me that didn't serve me, and I had to let go of that and break out of that cycle. But yeah, I definitely have seen a difference in myself
yeah,
in how
yeah,
here too. It's crazy
yeah.
how
I think
in your
there
insight.
was an emptiness, not
Yes,
for me, not a sadness in your eyes, but more of an emptiness
yes,
when I was watching that video or a couple of your posts. And it was, again, it wasn't the Emily I'm talking to
yeah,
tonight. I noticed that tonight,
yeah,
that there was an emptiness to your gaze, to your look. And I think I said this before that there is a million words that can be said about a woman's gaze, about a woman's stare. And
yeah,
the only word I could come up with, a few of the posts that I saw earlier on, was an emptiness.
yeah,
There was a lacking. There was a wanting. There was a desire for something that you didn't know where to get it or how to get it.
yes, absolutely spot on, absolutely. And what I really had to do is I had to let go of just a bunch of old beliefs I had about
Yeah.
myself.
Mm-hmm.
I truly had to just surrender and trust God. And since I have done that, here I am. Like my life has been amazing, and I feel just so like my energy and my heart. I have such a big heart, and I feel like that's able to be poured out now. Whereas I was I wasn't full and able to pour out. I needed poured into, and I feel like now I'm able to give my full self. And I also was kind of afraid of what other people were thinking about my
Of
post,
course.
my energy, and my spirituality. I hadn't really shown that to a lot of people. And I had this account, and then I had a personal account that I posted more like my personal stuff on. And about a couple months ago, I decided, you know what, I'm done hiding. I'm done trying to hide from my abuser, my situation, myself. I'm deleting that account, and I'm just going to focus on this one and just be myself. And I think as you can see, have really blossomed and been able to step into that fullness of me.
Yes, yes. And what I don't see tonight is an emptiness in your eyes. I have to ask you, gosh, why is this happening? There is a, okay, tell me if this makes sense. There's a woman with, it's an older woman. And usually for me, if the person is on the right side of the person that I'm seeing, so this person is on your right side, my left, it usually means that that person is connected to you. If I see
Okay.
that person on your left, it means that you're possibly not connected to you, maybe in a roundabout way, but definitely on your right side. She is connected to you somehow. There is some kind of not motherly,
It's
grandmotherly,
my, I
maybe.
think it's my aunt. My aunt was my godmother.
Okay, so was she feisty?
Yeah.
Was she like really feisty?
Yes.
Um, I heard her name earlier, but I don't think this is her name. I want to say her name starts with maybe a W, but immediately the name Wanda came out. I was like, no, I don't. That name doesn't sound familiar. Um, there was a W name connected to her. I don't know if it's maybe a middle
Oh,
name, last name.
my grandfather, who is also passed and is on the same side, so that's her dad. His middle name is William.
William. Okay, but do you have you connected with her before?
Um, in some, yes, not all the time, but a couple times I have.
She was the boss of her house.
Yes,
What she
she was.
said went. She didn't take no bullshit from no man.
No, she did not.
Hmm. But she's always had such a loving heart, though. She's
She
very
did.
giving and
I
more understanding of situations that were hurtful. But she also knew, got it. So she could distinguish between people who were just feeding her bullshit and people who were being genuine with her. She could call you out of it, and she probably did call you out of it out on it, and it didn't matter who you were as far as the relationship to her.
yeah,
She called you out on your bullshit.
she'll say how it is.
So I feel like she is with you for a reason, and it's possibly to maybe help you move you past to that next transition, the next evolution for who Emily is, to take you to that place where you desire, which is becoming an author and an inspirational speaker, and using her energy of this little feisty lady,
Yeah.
and also being able to decipher between those who mean you harm, not necessarily physically, but harm in any way, shape, or form, that you'll be able to decipher right away
Mm.
and call out that bullshit and not be a part of it.
I do have a hard time with that. I always want to see the best in people, and as a healer, I always try to help people.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it can make me blind to certain things, or I will ignore certain things because I want to be a good person and
Of
help
course,
them. And
of course.
that's so
I think
funny
a
because
lot of it is too is we just kind of want to be liked,
yeah.
you know.
But I have her eulogy card and her rose, and with my
Oh
grandfather's
my
rose in that video
God,
there.
that's
That's
why. That is why.
that.
Okay, okay. Just know she's with you.
Thank you. I felt
Just
her
know
presence.
she's with you. And I believe she's there to help you move you to you. You
Thank you.
did. She is there to help you move you to the next evolution, the next step in your journey. And it's wow, it's gonna be beautiful, Emily. Oh my God, I'm so jealous. It's gonna be a beautiful journey for you. Uh, please share it with us.
And I'm so excited. So it's been a little hard to have patience because I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm sitting here.
Yeah.
What is it? And I also have been trying to control, so trying to release control and just let things flow. Like, what will come, just relax. So,
Okay,
thank you.
so Spirit also wants you to watch the sunrise tomorrow. A
Okay.
lot of messages that I've been told in the past, and I've told several people this, that there's a message for you in the sunrise, but for you specifically, there's a message for you in the sunrise.
Okay.
And whatever the message is, to journal it.
Okay. Wow.
It is
I just got.
meant. It is meant just for you and nobody else.
Oh, thank you. I have chills all over.
No, thank you, and thank your auntie. Can I ask what her name
Her
was?
name is Kathy.
Kathy. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for allowing me to connect with you, and thank you, Emily, for allowing me to connect with you. I haven't given a reading in a while. It's because my mind's been cluttered with so much.
Thank you. I love things like this because um as spiritual people and helpers, you're giving a lot and you don't always get to receive. And sometimes it's just nice to like hear physical confirmation instead of
Yeah.
having to like use your intuition to decipher. So
Yeah.
for that, I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. It's an honor for me to be able to connect with Spirit, to be able to connect with you're with Kathy, and it's really an honor for us to connect with you, Emily.
Yeah.
And I know I talk a lot, and I said I needed to let you speak, but I know you said you were willing to do a group mini session with us. I'm going to leave that with you, and will you do me a favor? I'm going to let you close out something I've never done before, and I believe this is what Spirit wants me to do, and it's good practice for you. I'm going to leave you to close out our podcast tonight. You're going to sign us off, say what you need to say. You can thank everybody, whatever you need to do. I'm not going to guide you or lead you in any way, but can you
Okay.
close us out tonight?
Yeah. So let me do a little Reiki
Okay,
first. So
cool. Is there anything I need to do?
no, so if you're watching, whether it is live, whether it's on replay, just know that energy has no time constraint, so it will get to you whenever you watch it. All you need to do is accept, so you can go ahead and just say accept in your head and just be as open as possible. Personally, I close my eyes. Sometimes you'll see colors, and just make sure that you guys are drinking a lot of water. Because Reiki, you're moving a lot of energy and it can cause headaches is the most common thing. So just make sure you're hydrated and drink a lot of water. So go ahead and take a big deep breath. Try to expand your diaphragm as much as possible. And when you can't breathe in any longer, I want you to hold that for 2 seconds and then release with a little bit of force at the end, and go ahead and do 5 of those. And I'm just going to connect us all. And I'm going to start with a cleansing because we have a lot going on. I'm feeling a lot of like nervousness, excitement. Just a lot of staticky. Go ahead and make sure you're taking 5 of those deep breaths. And just allow yourself to relax. And notice if anything is coming up for you. It could be a thought. You don't need to have any judgment on it. You can just allow it to be. And I want you to feel at the very top of your head, in your crown chakra, I want you to feel just this beautiful light starting to come down into your head. And that's going to continue down your spine. And feel free to breathe or move as you need. All right, next I'm going to work at the bottom of your feet. So what I'm doing is I'm opening the portals at the bottom of your feet, and we all have grounding cords. So I am putting your specific grounding cord up through your feet, and that's going to connect at your root chakra. And what this does is this just helps us ground ourselves and connect to Earth, because we are Earth. All right, so now I'm just going to go through real quick, and I'm just going to clear your chakras. So again, we're starting with our crown chakra. And just allow yourself to release anything that is no longer serving you. Just allow it to fill with the beautiful white cleansing light. Relax your jaw and your face muscles. And allow yourself to break free of that tension. Good. Next, I'm going to your third eye. Some of you, your third eye is very open. And again, we're just clearing out anything that's stagnant and no longer serves you. And next, I'm going to the throat chakra. And I don't know whose energy this is, but I'm getting the feel, like I feel like I'm about to start crying, like I'm trying to hold back tears. So if someone is feeling like they can't speak their truth, or they can't say how they really feel about something, and I need you to know that your experiences, your perspective on things is valid. So whoever that is for, ask for courage. Ask for courage to find the right words to say and speak about whatever the situation may be. So we're going to go to your heart chakra. And you can envision a beautiful, sparkly green, vibrant light just exploding from the middle of your chest. Your heart is expanding. And you recognize that you are love. Okay, next I'm moving to your solar plexus. So your solar plexus is at the top of your belly, right above your belly button. And again, we're just sweeping and clearing that. Okay, so something I'm getting through here. If someone is having joint pain, I'm hearing like specifically like finger or hand or like wrist joint pain. You need to look at something in your diet, either adding like something that will help, yeah, adding something that will help with your joint pain. I'm not sure who that's for. All right, next we're going to your sacral chakra. So your sacral chakra is located right below your belly button. This one feels a little heavy. So try to, the next time you take a breath in, breathe into your sacral chakra. So envision your breath going right below your belly button. And as you breathe in, you're breathing in this orange light. And then as you exhale, you are releasing like black, I see it as like black smoke or black, just like blackness, like yucky coming out of your mouth. So release that stuck energy, because some of you it's really heavy. Go ahead and do a couple of those. Again, you're breathing your breath into your sacral chakra. The more you expand your diaphragm, the better. And then you want to bring the air up, so from your diaphragm into your lungs. There we go. I can feel when it gets lighter. Okay, and then do one more of those breaths for me. Good. And last, we're going to come to your root chakra. If you guys are ever needing to feel more grounded, simply go outside in nature. One of my favorite things to do in the morning when I'm taking my dog out is I wear flip-flops and I plant my bare feet in the grass and I just breathe in and envision Earth's energy coming up into me. So if you feel ungrounded, that's a good way to help yourself, and it's easy. Also, sunlight. Sunlight is medicine. Okay, I'm gonna do one more sweep, and then I will be done and let you guys go. But overall, you guys feel a lot lighter. I hope you guys feel lighter. The energy is definitely lighter. Okay, and then last thing, we're just going to put a protection bubble around you. So this is just protecting your energy from anything that is not yours. Even if people can send energy unconsciously, and if you're open to that and don't protect yourself, you're susceptible to that. So you always want to make sure I just envision myself putting a white bubble of light around me. That's the easiest thing you guys can do. All right. All right, well, thank you all again today. Luca, thank you again for having me and creating this beautiful space where you allow people to connect and share experiences and learn and grow and evolve and emerge yourself.
Thank you, Emily. So beautiful. I should have warned you. My energy sometimes can be very heavy, as the other.
Oh, good.
But I thank you that. I thank you for taking time out tonight with us and sharing your story, sharing this beautiful session. There were a few things that you mentioned that, yeah, it's kind of me in a way, so it's beautiful. It's really something I needed to hear, something I've needed in kind of a while. So thank you for allowing me to connect with your energy and also your aunt's energy, Kathy's energy. Thank you to all of our community members for being here. Grizz, my partner, if you're not following her, please follow her, Jade_Tiger. And also, I saw Annie, AIM Readings, as well as Infinity Moon Love, Tina, and Shonda, all part of our communities. I always ask at the end, our replay will be put on our YouTube channel. There's the neighborhood destroying themselves again. On our YouTube channel, The Only Elephant in the Room. I want to make sure it's okay for us to put that up on the YouTube channel. I want to ask you if that's okay, Emily.
Yeah.
And also, we do have a community chat group that we kind of share a little bit more information, or people who wanting prayers or want to do a praise report. We have a couple people going through some amazing things. And we ask that it gets shared in our community group chat. And you're not obligated to stay in anyway, but we'd like to add you to that if that's okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, add me for sure. Absolutely. I would love to be a part of that.
Okay, there's about 30 people in there or so, something like that. So reach out to any of them and see if you want to connect and do readings, or if you would like to book a session with Emily. Her website again, Emerge Yourself. Holistics at, I'm sorry, Emerge Yourself Holistics.GoDaddySites.com.
Yes.
Book a session with her. Emily, I'm going to leave you with this thought. I'm excited for what's coming for you, for your future, in what you're desiring. I thank you for spending time with us tonight and for this beautiful reading. And I thank you for just being a part of our community. And of course, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's all I can say is just thank you. I am so grateful, and blessings to you all.
This was fun. Thank you so much. We'll see everybody again next week. Take care. Oh, next week's my birthday, so I may not be on Saturday, probably Friday. Thanks. We'll see you guys later. Take care. Aloha.
Bye. Thank you.